Alright, so in this section, let's look into logging. So what is logging and why it is important in framework development? So first we have to understand that. Now let me talk about some basics about this. And when you run a program, if you come across failure or if you want to know how the test ran, you would see the test report to see test pass or fail. But if you want to know the exact reason why test failed and at what step it went wrong, you should have proper logging in your framework. You have to log each and every information of what your script does. So it's like description of how your script is running, like username is entered, password entered, it logged in, it's trying to identify credit cards, and then it started making payment. Everything it should talk, your script should speak in terms of logs. In that case, if something goes wrong, you should be able to go to log file. There should be one separate file where all your logs should get stored, so that one can open that file and see what exactly happened to make that test failure. So you need to read the logs and understand, okay, so fatal error in submitting credit card payment on step 4. Something you have to get like this clear information that one can understand, or you or if your manager who is non-technical also should be able to read the logs and understand it's something going wrong on step number 4. Okay, that's the whole point. You can debug the script to understand why it failed, but it's a technical part, right? If there are domain people, business people, or manual testers who want to know why the test failed, they can just go through logs to understand. So that's why you have to have proper logging in your framework. So that's the basic idea about logging. Now, how to implement logging? So basically we have to log everything in one separate file, and there is one industry standard where people use one format to log, right? So firstly you have to have a timestamp on what exact time that particular automation step got executed. Okay, right now if you want to print, you are just printing with console.log, right? So that will simply print in your console here, but that will not print it in your file, and at the same time it will not give you any timestamp on what specific time or second this particular step is being printed, right? So now we have to follow a standard like this where it should give me the what exactly time and what kind of log it is. This is important. So in Python or Java or JavaScript, there is a logging package which will help you to showcase some types of logging. So these are different types of logs you can print. At the end, all logs are messages only, but in the beginning it will tell what kind of log it is. So sometimes if you just want to print a normal statement like balance amount available to make credit card payment, so you are entering that in the edit box to submit your automation test. You can also print that in output, and at that time you can use this info, just the information of what test have. And warning, so let's say you are writing one if condition where your test script should not go inside. If it went, then you can set some message like log.warning saying that no minimum balance is present, something like this, because that will not fail your test. If you think there is something which it needs to alert end user but not fail the script, then you can use warning log. And error, if you think the test case is failing at that particular moment. Now let's say you put an assertion, and then when expected is not matched with the actual output, then you want to log it. You can say log dot error, so that when it prints in the output, it prints like this, error. So that tomorrow when you see your file, you can see what are errors, what are warnings, what are info. So based upon that you can understand how your test ran. It's just like alerting us, showing what category the log is, right? Critical. Let's say that particular test is blocking your whole framework with null pointer exception or something like that. So that particular block wherever you think if your script reaches and that will stop everything, then you could say log.critical, and in the output if it executes that statement it will show critical here. So this is all theory part, we gonna do practical everything, but before that I'm just giving a heads up that what are different options we have: debug, info, warning, error and critical. So in these methods you can use, but at the end what all you use that will eventually print console messages in your file. Only thing is, when you declare format like this in the beginning, it will tell what kind of log it is, if it's a debug, info, or based upon how you define that step. When you write something called log dot error, and then if that console is printed, you will see error here. If you say log dot warning, if you write that step, you will see warning here. That's it. We will tell in logging terminology this as log level, what kind of logging level you are doing. That's how we speak. Okay, so keeping these things in mind, let's start writing a logging script practically in our next lecture. It's easy, it's all a logical way of building a script, but I'll show you how to do that easily. Alright, see you in the next lecture.